Hey everyone, this is Shreyas and welcome back to another video. If you're wondering why is there a specific video about Google Photos and Google Camera now, there is a particular reason of it. Last night I got a very big update around the Google Camera and the Google Photos app, as you can see in this screenshot, and I've been giving disclaimers in my previous two videos about the thermal performance of the Tensor G3 comparison to the Tensor G2, and similarly a camera comparison between the Pixel 7 Pro and the Pixel 8 Pro as well. So if you haven't checked those videos out, by the way, they'll be linked down below or in the card over here. So definitely watch those and get context to come back here. But although the day 0 update is not live, I think the camera features that were missing, especially during those videos over there, are live right now. And if you're wondering where is the full review, I was kind of waiting for these updates to come in as well, and they are definitely in the works, and I'm doing my full-fledged testing on the Pixel 8 Pro simultaneously. And if you want a very early review of the same, definitely subscribe and turn on notifications so that you do not miss that out. With all that said, let's dive deep into the Google Camera and Google Photos app for today, and there are a lot of changes to it. So without any further delay, this is Shreyas and let's check that out. Alright, before moving on, here's a quick look at the version of the app which we are running, which the update got. You can see the Google Camera gets the 9.1.098 update, which wasn't there at launch, and Google Photos is on 6.5.5 and the Google Photos app is on 6.55.0. So these are the app versions. So if you're watching this video at some later point in time, you will have that reference in case things have changed by that time. With all that said, first let's dive deep into the Google Camera app and understand what all is different and how does it help and what all could be better. Alright, for the two camera apps, actually let's look into what are the differences from the regular camera app, and here is the Android 14 version camera app on my Pixel 7 Pro versus the one on my Pixel 8 Pro which has the Pro modes enabled. So right now I'm in Pro mode, so let me go back to general mode. First things first, the UI overall remains the same, just like what is there post Android 14, at least on my Pixel 7 Pro. Few things that have changed. Before, here we had a gesture based thing where there is a menu item coming up on the top. Now if I do the gesture, there is a pop-up menu over here on a card, and here is the first thing you see between the differences of the general and the Pro settings, which is completely absent on the Pixel 7. So on the Pro settings, you can see the options of having 50 megapixel images, raw images, and having lens selection as manual. Alright, so in auto lens switching, you select a particular focal length you want, but the lens does not always switch. It is contingent on enough light being there on the sensor or it being able to focus on the object. For example, if you're on the telephoto and you're on a nearby object, it will just not focus, so it will switch to whatever lens is reasonable. Like right now, since I'm very close to the object, although it's selected at 5x, it's basically cropping into the ultra wide at 5x using the macro mode to focus. Similarly, if I change it to manual, you can see there are only three options. There is wide, ultra wide, and telephoto. It will forcibly stick to the ultra wide. Like now I switch to the telephoto, and you might be able to see on a screen that it is on the telephoto lens, and it cannot focus because the distance is too less, and it cannot focus it at that particular focal length. So this is something you can do, especially in low light when you want a particular image. Usually the sensors not getting enough light leads to it not switching to the telephoto. In some scenarios it can be overridden in the Pro mode. Moving on, similarly you also have the 50 megapixel mode. Mind you, this is applicable for most of the types of. Similarly, another thing you see is that the control of the night sight duration has moved down further below, and over here you get a slider after popping into this about what is the duration of night sight you want on your device. Not just that, once you move into this particular part, which is the toggles for changing settings like exposure, shadow, white balance, which used to happen after a tap. So this is the exposure, this is the shadow slider, and this is the temperature slider. Now they have moved into menus which are more reachable with one hand. While that happens, on the top you get an overview of all your current settings in the camera app itself. Alright, so I'm recording the screen as well, and you can see that the focus is auto adjusting over here, but once I go into something of the slider, you can see the focus mode is gonna change by itself. Like right now it has auto switch to the ultra wide because I'm too close by. If I go away, I can also over here force the, through this setting in pro mode, force the manual mode and go into the wide angle lens only, and then go into focus to see if I am getting the thing in focus that I need or not. You can see there is slight focus peaking and the color is in blue. You can see focus peaking active on the top of the lens as well. One more thing you can do to see if you're focusing better is using this window, seeing at the point of focus. So for example, wherever you tap on the screen is where the window preview will come. So let's tap on the X right now. So there you go. Let's focus. It's gone out of focus. Let's go in focus, and this seems to be kind of the full right spot. And you have one button to reset the focus by itself, and just use tap to focus instead. And you can see with the movement of the lens, the bottom focus slider here changes by itself as well. So same things you have actually for shutter speed over here. You have the same for white balance, and you have the same for ISO. Usually it's better to set ISO pre-hand and then mostly tweak the shutter speed as per your preference. The good part here is you can force these modes with a certain lens in the pro mode, which was not possible before, and this is a great thing that has been added. One more small detail that has been added now is that if you go into the more settings, you can go under advanced and see something like rich color in photos. This is going to use display P3 color gamut now instead of sRGB, and you can store more information. Alright, now that you had an overview of the Google Camera app, let me know down in the comments down below which is your favorite feature and what do you think is missing. Also let me know in the comments if I've missed out anything that is there and you have observed it. But one thing majorly missing I feel is going to be the video pro mode. There is no settings as such that got added in the video modes, and I don't know if Google is reserving it for the 9 Pro or not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. With all that said, let's dive into the editing features and Google Photos app, and this is borderline mind-blowing to be honest. Let's check them out. Alright, so going into Google Photos, few prerequisites to keep in mind. All your photos which you are going to use with the AI features especially have to be backed up on Google Photos. So that's unfortunately something which you need to do. But let's go to one of the biggest hyped features in AI tool editing over here is going to be best take. So as you can see, I'm looking amazing over here, but I think I can look better. So I have taken a bunch of shots. There are around 6 or 7 shots in the same position almost, and you can see it takes some time. It already decides and gives me the best face probably. Also note that as I covered in the camera part, Ultra HDR is disabled over here. So let's see, this was the actual face. This is something else, different, and yeah. So I guess either this or this is what I will go with. Now let's try to look a bit closer and see what else might have gone wrong while doing so. So as you can see, the shirt folds are not exactly what you would want. There is a bit of thing which makes you feel that it's not accurate enough. Let's see for this image, you can see ever so slightly there is some distortion or artifacting here. The sharpness of the place is also not as much. Here it's a bit more visible if you can observe clearly. So yes, it's not perfect, but definitely if I wouldn't have told you, there is very little chance you can figure that out. So let's see the before and after, before and after. Moving on, let's go to the magic editor options. So let's go to something simpler like this picture over here, and let's go into the magic editor options. Now you can see there is something of a glowing button over here with different colors. Once you hit it, that is particularly magic editor. Now I have loaded this before, otherwise it takes a while for it to analyze the image. That did not happen right now. So let me do one thing. Let me just select this object, and what I would want is to probably fill it in with the whole frame. At the end you do get an option to say if you want a new sets of results. So let's do one thing. Let's select this and go with it. Now few more magic editing options you get is over here. If you have a sky in the image, you can see you have a sky replacement option as well. Like you can see a few suggestions over here. I think this looks relatively natural and nice, so I'll select that. Again, you have the option to select and create more options if you like. Let's put in a slight mood over here with the golden hour. Alright, so with the pictures, I think this looks quite attractive. Let me go ahead with this one. The next thing we could do is in terms of landscape images. So over here, let's go into the landscape image. So let's just go into this, and you can see a water option since it detected it. So you can see it has kind of produced an example of like a coral reef maybe. This is something different. If you have to see the original, I can just press and hold and you can see it actually does well with the shadows or the reflection of the cloud and the mountains over here as well. Similarly over here as well, you can see the reflection of the mountain and the cloud is pretty much accurate. Same over here. I think this looks pretty nice honestly with the mood, and even this one looks actually pretty good. So let's go with this one for example here. Now let's dive into some other changes, like let's do it with the sky and see if it reflects into the water also or not. So now the sky has changed. We have a few extra clouds. I can't see the exact mirror image on the water here. Here this one looks relatively accurate if you can see here, and this one also kind of, but I think this is the most accurate and looks nice overall as well. So now you can just see the original image. And what is it now? Original image. Let's go ahead with the next example of moving human subjects. So you have an example over here of a human subject. So let's go ahead and go here. There is actually a person walking. I would like to erase that. So let me just circle this for example, and let me just hit erase. Alright, so let's zoom in over here. Okay, not really something that is detectable. Cool. The next option also looks pretty good. No major problems over here. I think all of them look quite fine. Let's just go with one of them. And next thing, let's move the subject. You can see I would prefer the subject to actually look this side, so they should be on the other side of the frame. So I'll just tap and hold, drag them onto this side. What I will also do is kind of make them a slightly bigger to fill up the frame and to maybe create some background separation as well, because I would like a portrait blur effect as well. All right, okay, now this looks like a pretty good job actually. You can't really make out a lot of difference until you zoom in. You can see the texture of the grass of the area where it was there in the original image versus the virtual fill up is kind of different. So let's just see here. Yep, you can see the grass over there is slightly different, but the gradients and the shades are actually pretty decently maintained. It's not the best. Let's just go with this one and see what else can we do. So let's go to portrait mode, and you can see the portrait image is quite good. There is some glow up on the skin tones as well, and some background removal plus a blur effect. Same thing over here. You can see very similar effects. Here there is a vignetting effect trying to enhance how the subject looks, and that's pretty nice actually. Alright, so I'm at a noisy place right now. Speech enhancement is off on the front facing camera, and yeah, let me know how does it sound. Now next video I'll turn on speech enhancement. Alright, so I'm at a noisy place right now. Speech enhancement is off on the same place with speech enhancement on. Now I'm not really sure how it sounds, but let me know in the comments down below. The same place with this video is without speech enhancement again, but I'll be editing this in the audio eraser tool and seeing what is the difference that is found. This video is without speech enhancement again, but I'll be Alright, getting into the audio eraser is going into the audio section, hitting audio eraser, and then it tries to identify all the sounds possible. Now what it will do is segment it into here. Here you have speech, nature and noise sounds. So let's go into each one of them and try to reduce it and see the effect of it in the final audio of the video over here. So you can see that there is a blue line signifying how much noise is being reduced from that particular part. So let's quickly turn down nature and see. This video is without speech enhancement again, but I'll be editing this in the audio eraser tool and seeing what is the difference that is found. This video is without speech enhancement again, but I'll be editing this in the audio eraser tool and seeing what is the difference that is found. This video is without speech enhancement again, but I'll be editing this in the audio eraser tool and seeing what is the difference that is found. This video is without speech enhancement again, but I'll be editing this in the audio eraser tool and seeing what is the difference that is found. How did you feel about that? Do you think that AI is going to take over the world or something? People are going to be of a varying opinion about what really is a photo and what is even authentic. But for your precious memories where you thought that it could be a little bit different and would make a lot of difference in the overall picture and keep it safer, this is a good tool for you. And I feel that the tools enabling it is something great. But yeah, it is what it is. Let me know your varying thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to hear them and interact with you as well. So with all that out of the way, again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you are again waiting for the full review of the Google Pixel 8 Pro, I request you to subscribe and turn on notification. If you like this video, definitely leave a thumbs up down below and comment down below if you have more doubts about the Google Camera app or the Photos app or any other question which you might want me to cover in the full review of the Pixel 8 Pro. So with all that said, thank you for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Unfortunately, a lot of the camera and editing features just went live late last night and I got this update. You can see there is a huge update about. For the past few days, I've been making a couple of videos, especially around the performance and the camera performance